Barakah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Warakah Kadash. Double honors the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And prophecy continues. I got a scripture here I want to start off with. Ephesians the 5th chapter. Verse 15. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." You know, we're in that time where all these final prophecies are coming to pass, and they're really unfolding simultaneously. You know, the time of Jacob's trouble, you know, the mark of the beast, World War III. These things are all being pushed out there. All right, so we got to be circumspect. Like, for instance, as this thing in the Middle East heats up, that puts pressure on the rest of the world. All right, in terms of the logistics, food pricing, product pricing, all of that. Inflation. War causes inflation. So, you know, we gotta keep an eye on these things. Now, this situation over there with that began to heat up since October the 7th last year. It's like these JOOs are showing no chill. They're not showing a willingness to back off. They just keep going and going. All right, escalating and escalating. It's like they're doing too much, but that's how it's supposed to be. This is how it's going to be. They're gonna keep going, and they're gonna keep going, and they're gonna keep going until eventually there ain't no return. All right, this is terrifying. Former UK National Security Advisor Lord Ricketts. All right, I'm gonna just let him speak. Let's hear what he's got to say.
I think Israel has got to the point now where they feel there are no constraints on them. They have spent a year, they've still not done the job in Gaza. They've had to go back into the north of Gaza around the Jabalia refugee camp there, I think for the third time. And I think they're feeling that there are effectively no American pressure on them anymore. I think the Americans gave up pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza, which is still nowhere near happening. They've accepted the fact that Israel is now in South Lebanon and trying to destroy Hezbollah's capability, and the Americans are reinforcing Israel against the possibility of another Iranian strike as and when the Israeli retaliation against Iran comes. So I don't think that Netanyahu thinks there's any limit now as far as what he can do in terms of political constraints. I mean, the terrible casualty toll suggests that they are really not prioritizing protection of civilians either, and that while he's got momentum and he's doing his in Lebanon, he's got to go as far as he can. I think Israel...
Yeah, and you can see that, you know, the man ain't got no chill. You know, they're moving like they're untouchable, like there's no rules, unruly, right? That's that pride, that's that arrogance. All right, they don't want peace. They have an objective, and they're going to achieve the objective one way or another. All right, they got that spirit on them, but that's good. That's good. So things are going to keep moving forward. You all right? Now, I just came across this. It says, breaking explosion in Shushtar, Iran. Early report stating it's an oil refinery. All right. All right. Closer footage of the oil refinery explosion in Shushtar. Now, it ain't confirmed that this is some kind of attack or whatever. We don't know what's going on. But these JOOs have threatened to attack Iranian oil refineries and the nuclear power plants, which Iran has in turn said if they do that, then they're gonna start attacking oil refineries and power plants. And what do you think that's gonna do? Not only is that an escalation, but what do you think that's gonna do to oil prices? How do you think that's gonna affect these economies that are already hurting? in places like Europe and in America and all over the world. All right, higher oil prices brings inflation. And then you had, the Hezbollah did a thing the other day. So this thing is just gonna keep bubbling and bubbling. All right. This is Luke 21:25. There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Like I said, you're looking at that. You're looking at the political and the social situation that's happening throughout the world, especially in the West. The West is a powder keg right now. Right, the xenophobia. All right, the falling behind of the classes, the lower classes, the middle classes are under pressure, and now you got this election in America that's hyped up to the maximum. They're hyping it up to the maximum. They're bringing division to the maximum. Okay, if Trump wins, you need to blame this person, blame that person. If Kamala wins, you need to blame this person, that person. Blame the black woman, blame the black man. Blame this person, blame that person. Oh, this is the last election. This is whether all of America comes down to this election. They're building up that energy. Right? And then you got the information that came out. All right. Now we knew years ago how the DOD, what do they call Homeland Security bought all them hollow point bullets, right? It says the Defense Department, with the stroke of a pen, has quietly codified its right to deploy lethal force against its own citizens. This is not a drill. The reissue of Directive 5240.01 is a declaration of intent. The military, an entity designed for external enemies, now turns its gaze inward, poised to act with deadly precision when the inevitable clash of wills erupt. All right, this is the sedition, the civil war, because they're dividing America on purpose. Here it is. It's supposed to be a democracy, right? So you're supposed to come to an agreement based upon the majority of the way to go ahead. But they're setting it up where one side is so polarized against the other that if the other side wins, one side will not recognize it. If Trump wins, the Democrat sycophants won't accept it. This ain't America. This is a failure of democracy. And if the Kamala side wins, then the Trump mans are saying the exact same thing. So this is set up for contention. And then one side, if you persecute the other side, they're going to agree with it, and vice versa. All right? If Trump gets into power and the Democrats, they start running some programs, you think the Trump supporters are going to be against Trump coming down with the full force of the military against his dissidents, and vice versa, because this is the atmosphere that they've set up, that they could bring in martial law, and one set of the people will agree with it to be used against another because of how charged they are emotionally. This is the whole point. It says this is designed, they anticipate conflict. Yeah, because they're going to make the conflict. They're building the conflict. That's what all these so-called assassination attempts are all about. The scripture says we're not ignorant to his devices. Those assassination attempts made upon Trump were fake. They were designed to inject emotion into his followers and even his detractors. Right, the military, an entity designed for external enemies, now turns its gaze inward, poised to act with deadly precision when the inevitable clash of wills erupts. Yeah, Ezekiel 21, the time of Jacob's trouble. And like I said, Jake is going to be targeted in this thing no matter what. Right? This is design. They anticipate conflict, and in their anticipation, they prepare the battlefield. our streets, our homes, our lives, and they will strike with the full force of a war machine built to crush foreign adversaries, but now aligned to dismantle internal dissent. The facade of representative government crumbles as the state arms itself, not just with weapons, but with legal and bureaucratic tools to enact violence under the guise of order. Order ab chaos. They're going to create the chaos to bring in the order that they want. The MOTB, all of that. What was once unthinkable is now written, approved, and ready to be executed. This is not preparation for defense. This is preparation for domination. All right? So that's why, the way the global situation is, and then the internal situation is in America, we're watching the leading up to the elections and after the elections very closely, because this election could be a catalyst for the coming chaos. Okay? And it very well looks like that's what they're doing, because I can guarantee you that whoever loses this election is not going to accept it. Yeah, right? Because that's how they've built this thing up to be. So, yeah, definitely, let's keep the eyes open. All right, we almost out of here, man. Shalom.